Hey everyone! If you're loving these stories and want the full, uncensored versions, plus exclusive hotter content, come check out my Patreon. For just $4 a month, you get access to over 440 stories, 2 new parts every day, and way spicier, lemony scenes. Every single story is 100% custom and written by me from scratch, often based on your ideas and suggestions. You can even submit prompts and vote on what comes next. This story, along with several recent ones, was picked by a Patreon poll. Link is in the description or pinned comment. Join us and dive in. Enjoy the story. In the bustling village of Konoha, hidden among the leaves, life carried on with a sense of normalcy that belied the extraordinary events brewing beneath the surface. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, had miraculously survived the Nine-Tails attack years ago, thanks to his unparalleled speed and sealing prowess. He ruled the village with wisdom and strength, ensuring peace and prosperity. His son, Naruto Uzumaki, now a 16-year-old genin with boundless energy and a mischievous grin, lived in the family home with his parents. Kushina Uzumaki, Naruto's fiery mother with her vibrant red hair and Uzumaki vitality, doted on her son while keeping the household running smoothly. Tsunade, the legendary sannin known for her superhuman strength and medical expertise, had declined the offer to become Hokage after the third's passing, preferring to wander, gamble, and heal as she saw fit. She visited Konoha sporadically, maintaining ties with old friends like Minato and Jiraiya. Naruto's days were filled with training, pranks, and dreams of surpassing his father. But lately he had stumbled upon something that would change everything, a forbidden jutsu hidden in the depths of the village's restricted library. It was a hypnosis technique, simple yet potent, designed originally for interrogation but with viral potential if misused. Naruto, ever the curious one, had sneaked in during a late-night escapade, driven by boredom and a desire to learn something cool that his peers didn't know. Little did he know, this jutsu would awaken desires he never knew he had, turning his world into one of control and submission. The afternoon sun filtered through the windows of the Uzumaki home as Naruto sat at the kitchen table, slurping his favorite instant ramen. The house was quiet, with Minato out on Hokage duties and Kushina. Well, she was occupied in a way that no one else knew about yet. There was a firm knock at the door, and Naruto's heart skipped a beat. He knew who it was. Tsunade had mentioned she'd drop by during her latest visit to Konoha. "Come in," Naruto called out, trying to sound casual. The door swung open, and Tsunade strode in, her presence commanding as always. She was a vision of mature beauty, tall and curvaceous, with long blonde hair tied into 2 pigtails that swayed with each step. Her green haori barely contained her ample bosom, and her short skirt revealed toned legs honed from years of battle. At 50-something, she looked eternally youthful thanks to her creation rebirth technique, her skin flawless and her hazel eyes sharp. "Hey brat," Tsunade greeted with her usual gruff affection, plopping down on the chair across from him. "Where's your mom? I need to talk to her about some herbal remedies she's been experimenting with. And don't tell me she's out causing trouble." Minato would have my head if I encouraged her. Naruto forced a grin, his hands gripping the table edge to steady himself. Beneath the table, hidden from view, Kushina was on her knees, her red hair cascading over her shoulders as she dutifully attended to him. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon, 500+ scorching hot episodes. Mom? She's not home right now. Naruto lied smoothly, his voice only slightly strained. She went over to Mikoto's place. "You know Uchiha Mikoto? They're having some tea or something. Girl talk, I guess." Tsunade raised an eyebrow, leaning back in her chair. "Mikoto, huh? That Uchiha matriarch is always so composed. Fine, I'll catch her later. So, how's training going, kid? Still dreaming of being Hokage like your old man?" As she spoke, Naruto felt Kushina's pace quicken slightly, her hands gently massaging his thighs. He bit his lip to suppress a moan, nodding enthusiastically. "Yeah. Dad's been teaching me some awesome seals. I'm gonna be the best." Tsunade chuckled, oblivious to the scene unfolding below. "Good. Keep at it. Now, about those remedies, tell Kushina to swing by Mayan when she gets back. With that, she stood up, ruffling Naruto's hair before heading out. The door clicked shut, and Naruto let out a relieved sigh, his hand reaching under the table to stroke Kushina's hair. Good job, Mom. You can stop now, for a bit. But to understand how they got here, let's go back a day earlier. The previous morning had started like any other. Naruto woke up in his room, the posters of famous ninjas plastered on the walls inspiring him as always. He stretched, his spiky blonde hair tousled from sleep, his blue eyes bright with determination. At 16, he was lean and athletic, his orange jacket and pants his signature look, though today he was in casual training gear. Breakfast with his parents was lively. Minato, with his yellow hair and kind smile, discussed village affairs, while Kushina, her long red hair flowing like a waterfall, served up a hearty meal with her usual enthusiasm. Databane! Eat up, Naruto! You need energy for training! Kushina exclaimed, her violet eyes sparkling. Minato nodded approvingly. Listen to your mother, son. I've got a council meeting today, but we'll spar later. After breakfast, Naruto headed to the training grounds, practicing his Rasengan under the watchful eyes of his teammates. But his mind wandered. He was frustrated with his progress. Sasuke was pulling ahead, Sakura ignored him, and even Hinata's shy glances didn't boost his ego much. That afternoon, seeking inspiration, he sneaked into the restricted section of the Konoha library, using a basic transformation jutsu to disguise himself as a Chunin guard. Rifling through ancient scrolls, he found one labeled Mind Manipulation Techniques, Forbidden. Curiosity piqued, he unrolled it. The jutsu described was deceptively simple, a series of hand seals, snake, ram, monkey, boar, followed by eye contact and a chakra-infused command. It induced a hypnotic state, making the target blank and obedient, though was suppressed under layers of suggestion. The scroll warned of its viral nature. If not sealed properly, the hypnosis could spread through close contact or repeated exposure, but Naruto dismissed that as exaggeration. This could be fun, he muttered, memorizing the seals. He practiced in a secluded corner, testing it on a stray cat first. The feline's eyes glazed over, and it followed his commands to roll over and fetch a stick. Exhilarated, Naruto realized the potential. But who to test it on for real? He thought of pranks on his friends, but something darker stirred. Images of control, of having people serve him without question. Several hours after mastering the technique, Naruto returned home, his mind racing. The sun was setting, casting orange hues over the village. He helped Kushina with dinner, chatting casually, but his eyes kept drifting to her figure. Kushina was in her mid-30s, stunningly beautiful with her hourglass shape, full chest, and curvaceous hips accentuated by her simple house dress. Her red hair reached her waist, and her smile was warm, maternal. That evening, as the family dined, Minato announced he'd be out late on a mission briefing. Take care of your mom, Naruto, he said with a wink. Will do, Dad, Naruto replied, his heart pounding with anticipation. Once Minato left, Kushina retired to her room early, exhausted from the day. Naruto waited until the house was silent, then crept to her door. She was asleep, her chest rising and falling gently under the covers, her red hair splayed on the pillow. Moonlight illuminated her peaceful face. This is just a test, Naruto whispered to himself, forming the hand seals. His eyes met her closed ones as he channeled chakra. Kushina Uzumaki, you will obey me completely. Your mind is blank, your will is mine. You serve Naruto with absolute devotion. Kushina's eyes fluttered open, but they were vacant, glassy. A fog settled in her mind, her thoughts scattering like leaves in the wind. Naruto's heart raced as he approached the bed, his hands trembling slightly with excitement and nerves. Kushina sat up slowly, her violet eyes unfocused, a soft blush creeping across her cheeks as the hypnosis took hold. She felt a strange warmth spreading through her body, her nipples hardening under her nightgown without her understanding why. Naruto, what? She murmured, but her voice trailed off, her mind foggy, thoughts of resistance dissolving into obedience. She looked at him with a mix of confusion and emerging arousal, her full lips parting slightly. He climbed onto the bed, pulling the covers away to reveal her curvaceous form. Kushina's chest strained against the thin fabric, her hips wide and inviting. Naruto's hands explored tentatively at first, cupping her chest, feeling their weight and softness. She gasped, her body responding instinctively, a wetness building between her thighs. "Mom, undress for me," he commanded, his voice husky. Obediently, Kushina slipped out of her nightgown, her skin flushing pink with embarrassment and excitement. Her large chest bounced free, nipples erect in the cool air. She knelt before him, her red hair cascading down her back, her eyes locked on his with blank devotion. Naruto stripped as well, his young, toned body revealed, his throbbing length pulsing with need. He pulled her close, kissing her deeply, his tongue invading her mouth. Kushina moaned into the kiss, her hands roaming his chest, the fog in her head making every touch electric. Thoughts flitted through her mind, this is wrong, but it feels so good. I must obey. Her arousal grew, her flower dripping with anticipation. Naruto pushed her back onto the bed, spreading her legs. He trailed kisses down her neck, sucking on her nipples, eliciting whimpers from her. "You're mine now, Mom," he whispered, his fingers sliding between her thighs, the heat radiating from her core. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. Spent, he held her, planting deeper suggestions. "You'll act normal around others, but serve me in secret." The next morning, Naruto woke to the smell of breakfast. Kushina was in the kitchen, humming softly, but her eyes held that subtle glaze when she looked at him. Minato was already up, sipping coffee, unaware of the change. "Morning, son! Sleep well?" Minato asked. "Yeah, great," Naruto replied, sitting at the table. As Minato read the newspaper, Kushina approached with a plate, but under the table, she knelt again, her hands unzipping his pants. Naruto's eyes widened, but he kept calm. The morning light streamed in, illuminating Kushina's kneeling form. Her red hair was tied back neatly, but her cheeks were flushed with a mix of maternal care and hypnotic arousal. She felt the familiar fog return as she freed Naruto's throbbing length, her mouth watering at the sight. "I must serve him, it makes me so wet," she thought, her flower tingling. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. The rest of the morning passed in a blur. Minato left for work, kissing Kushina goodbye. "Love you, dear." "Love you too," she replied automatically, but her eyes flicked to Naruto with hidden devotion. Once alone, Naruto tested her further. "Mom, clean the house in your underwear today." "Yes, Naruto." She obeyed, stripping down to lacy panties and bra, her body on display as she worked. He watched, his confidence growing. The jutsu worked perfectly, no resistance, just blank obedience. But a twinge of guilt hit him. Is this right? She's my mom, but it feels amazing. And Dad doesn't know. He pushed the thoughts aside, focusing on the power. By afternoon, as Tsunade's visit approached, the scene we started with, Naruto had Kushina under the table again, practicing discretion. After Tsunade left, he pulled her up, kissing her possessively. "You're perfect, Mom." The day continued with training. Naruto sparred with his father that evening, Minato praising his progress. "You're getting stronger, son. Keep it up." But Naruto's mind was elsewhere, on expanding his control. Tsunade's visit had sparked an idea. She was powerful, beautiful, and next on his list. As night fell, he lay in bed, planning. The hypnosis jutsu felt like a virus in his veins, urging him to spread it. Mikoto Uchiha, with her elegant beauty, crossed his mind too. But one step at a time. Little did he know, the jutsu's viral nature was already whispering through the village. A ninja in the library had noticed the disturbed scroll, and rumors of odd behaviors would soon surface. For now, Naruto reveled in his secret, his mother's soft snores from the next room a reminder of his newfound dominion. The sun was dipping lower in the sky, casting long shadows over the streets of Konoha as Naruto reflected on the whirlwind events of the previous day. His accidental discovery of the hypnosis jutsu in that dusty forbidden scroll had opened a Pandora's box of possibilities. With Kushina now transformed into his obedient slave, her once vibrant personality subdued into blank, devoted servitude, Naruto felt an intoxicating surge of power. It wasn't just the physical pleasures, though the way her warm mouth enveloped him, her tongue dancing with expert precision, was undeniably addictive. It was the absolute control. Her violet eyes glazed over with unquestioning obedience, her fiery Uzumaki spirit bent entirely to his will. Minato had remained blissfully unaware during breakfast that morning, discussing village defenses over steaming bowls of miso soup, while Kushina secretly pleasured Naruto beneath the table, her red hair hidden as she worked diligently. The thrill of such brazen deception made his heart pound harder than any training session. But Naruto knew he had to be careful. The scroll had warned of the jutsu's insidious viral nature. If not contained, it could spread like a chakra-based contagion through prolonged exposure, shared chakra links, or even accidental eye contact during high-emotion moments. For now, he pushed those warnings aside, focusing on his next ambitious target, Tsunade, the legendary Sannin whose strength and beauty were unmatched. The firm knock at the door jolted him back to the present. He sat at the worn kitchen table, his half-empty bowl of ramen cooling, while Kushina remained concealed below, her lips wrapped around him in rhythmic obedience, as he had whispered earlier. Tsunade entered without waiting for a full invitation, her heavy footsteps echoing with purpose. She looked as imposing and alluring as ever. Eternally youthful, long blonde hair in signature pigtails, green haori loosely open to reveal the tight mesh shirt clinging to her massive chest, short skirts swaying with each confident step. "All right, kid, spill it," Tsunade demanded, crossing her powerful arms under her chest. "Kushina's not really at Mikoto's, is she? I checked with her. She hasn't seen Kushina all day. What's going on?" Naruto's pulse quickened, but he kept his goofy grin in place. Beneath the table, Kushina's movements slowed to a teasing crawl, her tongue tracing lazy circles, sending jolts of pleasure up his spine that he fought to ignore. "What? No way, she's fine. Probably just running errands or helping with Uzumaki clan stuff, Databayo." Tsunade narrowed her eyes, leaning forward onto the table, her ample bosom pressing against the wood. "Minato said she's been acting off, quieter, more subdued. If she's sick, I can check her. I'm the best damn medic in the world." Naruto swallowed hard, gripping the table edge as Kushina's soft lips and perfect suction threatened to break his focus. He forced a laugh. "Nah, really, it's nothing. She's just tired from housework. Hey, how's your stay going? Any big gambling wins?" Tsunade sighed, sat down heavily, and rambled about her losses, village medical reforms, border threats, and strange reports from the hospital, ninjas zoning out, following odd commands. Could be a new genjutsu circulating. Minato's got Anbiyu looking into it quietly. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. Was the jutsu already spreading? The thought sent a mix of fear and exhilaration through him. After deflecting her suspicions, Tsunade finally stood. "Fine. Tell Kushina to swing by my inn tomorrow. And keep an eye on her, Naruto. Something feels off." As the door clicked shut, Naruto exhaled in relief, reached under the table, and gently pulled Kushina up by her cascading red hair. "That was way too close, Mom. But you were perfect, good girl." She emerged with a blank, devoted smile, cheeks flushed crimson, full lips glistening. "Anything for you, Naruto. Shall I continue?" Guys, please don't forget to hit that like button and drop a comment if you enjoyed it. It means the world to me and gives me a huge boost of motivation. Your support keeps me going. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. He shook his head, pulling her into a quick, possessive kiss before sending her to prepare dinner. With Tsunade's warnings echoing in his mind, Naruto decided it was time to act. He couldn't let her investigate further. After making sure Kushina was busy in the kitchen, he slipped out into the cooling evening streets and headed straight to her inn. Tsunade opened the door, mildly surprised. "Naruto? What the hell are you doing here this late?" He stepped inside, easing into casual conversation about her travels, gambling, and Rasengan tips. When she turned briefly to grab another bottle of sake, he struck, hand seals flashing in a blur: snake, ram, monkey, boar. Chakra surged as he locked eyes with her. "Tsunade, your mind is blank and empty. You obey Naruto completely and without question. You are my obedient slave, serving me every single day with absolute devotion and loyalty." Her sharp hazel eyes widened for a split second, a flicker of resistance flashing across her face, before they dulled and glazed over completely. A thick fog descended upon her formidable mind, her ironclad will crumbling instantly. She stood frozen, posture slackening, a soft blush creeping up her neck as the hypnosis took root. Naruto approached her slowly, his breath coming in quick, excited bursts at the mesmerizing sight of the legendary Sannin succumbing to his control. Tsunade's massive chest heaved with each shallow, ragged breath she took, her pink nipples faintly visible through the thin mesh of her shirt as an unbidden arousal began to stir deep within her core. Her mind turned foggy and disjointed, coherent thoughts fragmenting into wisps. What's happening to me? My body, it's getting so hot. I must obey. Naruto. Master. She felt an inexplicable warmth pooling between her thighs, her cheeks reddening with a mix of confusion, embarrassment, and an emerging, hypnotic lust that she couldn't comprehend or resist. The jutsu amplified every sensation tenfold, transforming her usual unshakable confidence into a hazy veil of submissive desire. He reached out tentatively at first, cupping her chin with a firm hand and tilting her head up to meet his gaze. Undress for me, Tsunade, slowly. Her hands moved obediently, almost mechanically, shrugging off the green haori that fell to the floor in a heap, then peeling away the tight mesh shirt, allowing her enormous, full chest to spill free into the open air. They were round and heavy, with pert pink nipples hardening instantly in the cool room, begging for attention. She kicked off her short skirt and lacy panties next, revealing her toned, curvaceous body in all its glory. Wide, childbearing hips, powerful thighs that could crush stone, and a neatly trimmed blonde bush above her now glistening flower. Naruto stripped as well, his lean, athletic teenage body revealed, his throbbing length standing proud and eager. He pushed her gently but firmly onto the bed, his hands exploring her lush curves with growing boldness, squeezing her chest, feeling their soft weight yield to his touch, eliciting a soft, involuntary moan from her parted lips. You're so incredibly beautiful, Tsunade, he murmured huskily, leaning down to kiss her neck, trailing hot, wet kisses lower to capture a nipple in his mouth, sucking and nibbling gently. Tsunade arched her back instinctively, her strong hands tangling in his spiky blonde hair, the thick fog in her head making every touch feel like electric fire coursing through her veins. Obey him, give in to the pleasure, it feels so right, so good. Her flower grew slick with arousal, her hips bucking slightly against nothing, craving more. Naruto's fingers dipped between her thighs, finding her swollen button and rubbing it in slow, teasing circles that made her gasp and writhe beneath him. She was already soaking wet, her body betraying her completely under the hypnosis's spell. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon, 500+ scorching hot episodes. From Tsunade's POV. The world around me blurred into a hazy mist as the hypnosis sank its claws in deep. My thoughts, once sharp, strategic, unbreakable, scattered like shattered glass on the wind. Strength, independence, the weight of my legacy, all of it faded into an empty void, replaced by a single, echoing command: obey, serve. Naruto's voice resonated in my core, pulling strings I didn't know existed. My body ignited against my will, nipples tingling with sensitivity, a deep ache building between my legs that I couldn't ignore or fight. Why resist? Obedience, it feels so natural, so arousing. Every touch from him was amplified, like flames licking my skin, delicious, overwhelming, erasing any flicker of doubt. As he thrust into me, filling me completely, sparks of ecstasy exploded in my mind, my foggy consciousness drowning in waves of pleasure I'd never experienced so intensely. I was his now, blank, devoted, coming in endless tides of submission that left me craving more. Naruto collapsed beside her on the bed, his chest heaving as he caught his breath, a satisfied smirk playing on his lips. You'll act completely normal around others, Tsunade. No one will suspect a thing. But you'll serve me in secret, come whenever I call, and use your skills to help me with anything I need. Do you understand? Yes, Master Naruto, she replied in a husky, post-orgasmic voice, her tone blank yet laced with underlying devotion as the suggestions embedded deeper into her psyche. The integration process began right there, in the dimly lit-in room. Naruto spent the next hour or so planting more intricate commands, layering them like seals on a scroll. She'd report any village rumors or investigations directly to him, leverage her medical expertise to cover up any unusual behaviors among the populace, should the jutsu spread further, and seamlessly integrate into his budding harem without jealousy or resistance. Tsunade nodded along obediently, her once formidable mind still shrouded in that hypnotic haze, accepting each directive as absolute truth. As they talked, she casually mentioned more details about the hospital incidents. A couple of jonin came in today, complaining of foggy headaches and unexplained obedience urges. Nothing conclusive yet, but if it's a jutsu, it might be tied to that old forbidden archive Minato's been securing tighter. Naruto's interest sharpened like a kunai's edge. The jutsu was indeed showing signs of viral spread, perhaps from the disturbed scroll in the library or residual chakra lingering on Kushina during her daily interactions. The idea thrilled him. An accidental epidemic could amplify his power exponentially, turning Konoha into his personal domain. But it also carried risks. Minato's ANBU could trace it back. He filed the information away, his confidence swelling with Tsunade now as his ally. Yet he wasn't done with her yet. The taste of her submission had awakened a hunger for more variety. Tsunade, now roleplay as my personal maid. Serve me properly, like the devoted slave you are. Tsunade's hazel eyes glazed over even further, the command snapping her into the new role with effortless precision. She rummaged through her luggage for a spare white apron, part of a disguise kit from her travels, and tied it over her still naked form, the fabric barely containing her enormous chest, her hardened nipples peeking out teasingly from the edges. A deep blush spread across her face, her mind enveloped in submissive fog. Maid. I must serve master. It's so humiliating, yet so arousing, my body aches for it. She knelt gracefully before him on the floor, her pigtails swaying gently, and began her service with a prelude of gentle kisses along his inner thighs, her soft lips building tension as she worked her way up. Her breath was hot and teasing, her hands massaging his legs with skilled, healing touches that sent shivers through him. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. Fully sated for the moment, Naruto dressed and left her with final instructions to clean up the room and maintain her facade of normalcy. As he walked home under the starry night sky, the village lights twinkling like distant fireflies, he pondered the escalating hints of the jutsu's spread. A passing ninja, a chunin he vaguely recognized, gave him an odd, dazed stare before stumbling away, muttering incoherently. Coincidence, or the beginning of something bigger? Back at home, Kushina greeted him with a warm dinner spread, Minato already retired to bed after a grueling day of Hokage duties. Welcome back, Naruto, she said softly, her eyes flickering with that hidden obedience as she served him. He ate thoughtfully, his mind a whirlwind of plans and possibilities. Tsunade was securely his now, a powerful, beautiful addition to his secret empire. Next on the horizon, Mikoto Uchiha, with her elegant grace and Sharingan eyes that could see through deceptions if he wasn't careful. But he had to proceed strategically, integrating his slaves gradually, building his web of control without alerting the village. The night air outside carried faint whispers of impending change in Konoha, and Naruto, at the epicenter, felt ready to embrace it all, risks, pleasures, and power alike. Yet, in the quiet moments, a small voice of doubt crept in. Was this path of domination worth the potential fallout? He shoved it down, focusing on the thrill. The game was just beginning. Several hours had passed since Naruto's conquest of Tsunade at the inn, and the night had fully enveloped Konoha in a blanket of stars. The village streets were quieter now, with only the occasional patrol ninja darting across rooftops or lanterns flickering in windows as families wound down for the evening. Naruto strolled home with a spring in his step, his mind buzzing from the day's triumphs. Controlling Kushina had been intimate, almost familial in its twisted way, but ensnaring Tsunade, a woman of legendary status, with power that rivaled his father's, had elevated his confidence to new heights. He felt invincible, like the nine-tails chakra surging through him, but this was a different kind of energy, dominance, pure and unyielding. The hypnosis jutsu was proving more potent than he'd imagined, and the subtle hints of its spread, those dazed ninjas Tsunade mentioned, added an element of chaotic excitement. What if it infected others accidentally? Could he build an army of obedient slaves without even trying? The thought made him grin wickedly, but he tempered it with caution. Minato was sharp, any widespread oddities would draw his attention. As he approached the Uzumaki home, warm lights spilled from the windows, and the faint aroma of herbal tea wafted out. Pushing open the door, Naruto found Kushina and Mikoto Uchiha seated at the living room table, chatting amicably over steaming cups. Kushina, her long red hair tied in a loose ponytail, looked every bit the hospitable hostess in her casual yukata. Her curvaceous figure relaxed as she laughed at something Mikoto said. Mikoto, the elegant matriarch of the Uchiha clan, sat poised with her dark hair cascading down her back, her Sharingan eyes, currently deactivated, warm and friendly. She wore a traditional kimono that hugged her slender yet feminine form, modest chest, narrow waist, and graceful hips, exuding the calm dignity of a woman who had raised 2 sons in a clan of prodigies. Sasuke was away on a training mission with Kakashi, and Itachi had long since departed for his own paths, leaving Mikoto with more free time to visit old friends like Kushina. "Oh, Naruto! Welcome back!" Kushina greeted with her usual enthusiasm, but her violet eyes held that subtle glaze of obedience, a secret only he knew. "Mikoto dropped by for tea. We were just talking about the upcoming village festival. Minato mentioned it might include some fireworks this year." Mikoto smiled softly, nodding. "Yes, it's been too long since we had a proper celebration. With peace holding, it's a good time to boost morale. How was your day, Naruto? Training hard as always?" Naruto returned the smile, but his eyes lingered on Mikoto's graceful features, her pale skin and dark eyes drawing him in. She was beautiful in a refined way, different from Kushina's fiery allure or Tsunade's voluptuous power. His arrogance swelled. He had 2 slaves already, why not a third? "Yeah, it was productive. Hey Mom, why don't you show me some hospitality? Get on your knees and suck me off." Kushina's expression didn't falter. She set down her cup and obeyed instantly, sliding under the table to kneel before him as he sat down. Mikoto's eyes widened in shock, her teacup clattering slightly. "What, Naruto? Kushina, what are you doing?" Naruto formed quick hand seals, directing a partial hypnosis at Mikoto, just enough to paralyze her body while leaving her mind aware. "You can't move, Mikoto. But you'll watch everything. Understand?" Mikoto's body froze, her muscles locking up, but her mind raced in horror. "What's happening? This isn't right." "Kushina, snap out of it. Naruto, stop this madness." She could only sit there, eyes darting frantically, as Kushina unzipped Naruto's pants and began her task. The room filled with tension as Kushina knelt obediently, her red hair falling forward like a curtain. Her cheeks flushed with hypnotic arousal, thoughts foggy. "Must serve Naruto. It excites me so much." She freed his throbbing length, her soft hand stroking it to full hardness, before leaning in, her warm mouth enveloping the tip. Naruto groaned softly, his hand on her head, guiding her deeper. Mikoto watched, paralyzed, her face burning with embarrassment and confusion, unwilling heat building in her core despite herself. "This is obscene, but I can't look away. My body feels strange, tingly." Kushina bobbed rhythmically, her tongue swirling, saliva glistening, her large chest pressing against his legs. Naruto locked eyes with Mikoto, smirking. "See how good she is? You'll be next." Mikoto's mind screamed in protest, but her cheeks reddened, nipples hardening under her kimono from the forced voyeurism. The prelude built, Kushina's moans vibrating around him, her pace quickening, until Naruto pulled her up slightly, commanding, "Keep going, Mom." The sight aroused him further, thrusting into her mouth gently. From Mikoto's POV, frozen in place, I could only stare as Kushina, my dear friend, debased herself before her own son. Horror mixed with a strange, unwelcome fascination, my body betrayed me, a warmth spreading despite the paralysis. "Stop, this can't be, but it's so intense." Every slurp, every moan from Kushina echoed in my ears, fogging my thoughts slightly even without full hypnosis. Naruto's eyes gleamed with power. Seeing Mikoto's helpless state fueled him. He formed the full seals: snake, ram, monkey, boar. Mikoto Uchiha, your mind is blank. You obey me completely. Serve me with devotion. Mikoto's dark eyes glazed over, the fog descending fully. Her paralysis lifted, but now under his control. Yes, Naruto. Join in, Mikoto. Lick Kushina while I fuck her. Kushina bent over the table, her yukata hiked up, as Mikoto knelt behind her, her tongue darting out obediently. Naruto positioned Kushina on the table, her ass up, yukata pushed aside to reveal her wet heat. Mikoto, now fully hypnotized, knelt behind, her dark hair framing her face as she leaned in, tongue flicking at Kushina's button tentatively at first, then with growing fervor. Her mind foggy. Obey, pleasure her, it's arousing. Kushina moaned, pushing back, her chest squished against the wood, cheeks red with excitement. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. After several dozen minutes of intense activity, Naruto leaned back, satisfied. Now, both of you, put on these. He pulled out collars and tail plugs from a hidden stash, procured earlier with Tsunade's help. The collars were leather with Naruto's slave engraved, the tails fluffy with anal plugs attached. Kushina and Mikoto obeyed, stripping fully and inserting the plugs, tails swishing as they moved. They served him tea and snacks, crawling on all fours, their bodies on display. Kushina's curves jiggling, Mikoto's grace turned submissive. In their new attire, collars snug around their necks, tails plugged firmly, Kushina and Mikoto crawled to him. Kushina's large chest swayed, nipples hard, mind hazy. Serve, the plug feels so full, exciting. Mikoto, elegant even in degradation, blushed deeply, the tail brushing her thighs, arousal evident. Master, may we please you more? Kushina asked, nuzzling his crotch. Naruto nodded, and they took turns licking him clean, tongues intertwining. He fondled their tails, twisting the plugs, eliciting gasps. Mikoto straddled him first, riding slowly, tail swishing, while Kushina licked her chest. Thoughts in Mikoto's foggy head: obedient, pleasure master. The collar marks me as his. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 500+ scorching hot episodes. The evening wound down with Naruto reflecting on Mikoto's life. With Sasuke away and Fugaku deceased, she was often alone in the Uchiha compound, a perfect secret slave. His arrogance grew. He was no longer just a genin, he was a master. But whispers of the jutsus spread reached him via a note from Tsunade, more dazed villagers at the hospital. Minato returned late, oblivious, as the women acted normal. Good night, family, he said. The next day teased more, a village gathering for festival prep, where Naruto spotted Hinata and Sakura, his next targets. The hypnosis virus simmered, ready to expand.